Every now and then I'll go out and buy a game, oftentimes taking a chance with something I may not have heard of before. Will it pleasantly surprise? Will it suck? Or will it just end in mediocrity with a shrug and a sigh? These 10 games fall into the latter two categories. The only rule for this list is, the games must have cost more than at least $10, so bottom of the bin garbage like Damnation, Jericho, and Rygar are out, because the only thing lost there was time. With that out of the way, here's my top 10 disappointing video game purchases. If anyone actually watched my videos, I'd probably get a lot of shit for this, but personally I didn't enjoy GTA 5. Hell, I didn't even want it, to be honest. I picked up GTA 5 on the promise of a great multiplayer experience, and much hype from some friends. With a single player story that didn't interest me in the slightest, and an online mode that I probably only played about 5 times, it just wasn't able to craft any memorable moments for me to look back on. Coming off of beating the fabulous Tales of Symphonia, I was in need of more Tales in my life. In comes Tales of Vesperia. With a complicated plot, a lore they barely explain, and little to no character development, the game just ended up becoming a jumbled mess. The game throws supposed final bosses at you too often, and even then, the final boss was kinda lackluster because you barely even crossed paths with him in the first place. I beat the damn game, and I still have almost no clue what any of it meant or why I should care. Holy shit does this game look good. Amazing landscapes, cool monster design, great music. Unfortunately, that's about all Final Fantasy XIII has going for it. With a plot that makes zero fucking sense, a battle system that almost literally consists of pushing A till things die, and extremely linear level design. All of these problems I could look past if this game wasn't so damn hard. This is a game that I've sunk many hours into, and as of writing this, I'm still stuck on Chapter 11. While I can respect the complicated paradigm system, I just know this is a game I'll likely never play again after beating it. Part of the fan-fueled Operation Rainfall, Pandora's Tower was the third game released in a lineup that also included Xenoblade Chronicles and The Last Story. Pandora's Tower suffers from a bit of repetitiveness. You go out, pick a tower, go in, find the chains, break the chains, fight the boss, rinse, repeat. That's fine, games are repetitive at times, sure, but halfway through, 6 more towers open up that are almost identical to the previous 6 you've just beaten. And for a game I wasn't really having a blast with in the first place, my interest was drained and I had to move on. I didn't really go into this one with much expectation. I never saw any trailers, screenshots, or reviews. It was just an on-the-spot purchase because why not? What could go wrong? Well, unfortunately for the Prince of Persia reboot, plenty. For starters, the back of the box claims you can explore an epic open world. Well, that world looks like a lot of fucking sand and small enclosed climbing levels to me. You hop around each level, grabbing some fucking glowy bullshit orbs to purify the areas, and maybe if you're lucky you'll find a single enemy to awkwardly fight. To be fair, I didn't get very far into the game. I may have completed 3 levels before coming to the conclusion of, yep, this is bullshit, and dropping it. On a good note, Nolan North did give the prince some personality and make him somewhat likable, but it wasn't enough to save this borefest of a game. Here's one that I had high hopes for. I heard so much about the humor of No More Heroes, and all I got was shitty job missions and less than satisfying combat. A not so great open world feature didn't help matters either. The sequel looks like it might actually be better, so here's hoping I can get my hands on that and forget about the less than adequate original. Being a lover of JRPGs, I felt like I had to give Star Ocean: The Last Hope a shot. I really wish I hadn't. Bad voice acting, strange doll-like character models, dull empty environments, a slow, clunky combat system, a completely uninspired Motoi Sakuraba score, and possibly 2 of the worst video game characters I've ever seen, Star Ocean: The Last Hope was a mind-numbing chore beginning to end, and definitely not worth the time it takes to get through all 3 discs. Alright, now this one's kinda cheating because it was a gift, but seriously fuck this game. With a color palette that mainly consists of gray, brown, and more gray, GTA 4 was another game I was talked into getting by friends for the multiplayer. And while we played quite a bit, the only real fun I ever had was having firefights with the cops in the hospital and driving the baggage cars in the airport. Nico being probably the most boring, generic character I've ever seen in a video game pretty much ensured that I'd never bother with the single player. A prime example that rare doesn't mean good, Magna Carta 2, developed by South Korean studio Softmax, is barely playable garbage. Allegedly rare in the States and costing way too much on Amazon, Magna Carta 2 does nothing but disappoint in damn near every category. A voice cast that includes the normally on-point Johnny Young Bosch just feels uninspired and uninterested. A battle system that literally couldn't be slower adds an overheat mechanic that will test your patience to the breaking point. Nothing about this game is worth what I paid for it. And here it is, number 1. Probably the biggest lump of shit I've ever had the displeasure of putting into my disc tray, and the second Tri-Ace developed game on this list. Infinite Undiscovery was a fucking mistake from stage 1. The main character is basically the epitome of the weak, timid anime boy stereotype. Another dull, uninspired Motoi Sakuraba composed score, a battle system so slow and clunky it almost literally renders your brain to mush, a large cast of characters with zero personality, and a big empty world with nothing to see. Everything about this game just falls short of what a good JRPG should be. Well, that was my list. Do you like any of these games? Do you hate any of these games? Do you agree? Do you disagree? These are all just my opinions. Sorry if this seemed clunky and thrown together. This is my first time attempting to do a list like this, and I decided to write out a script so I could keep my thoughts more connected and not so jumbly. Anyway, it's been Cleveland Cali Writer. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.